Excuse me, we have one signature to sign up, Trina Daisel. We have members from RCCA/DHHR here tonight who are actually on the agenda, so it's not necessary for you to sign up. Anybody else want to speak who hasn't signed up? Okay, if not, if you'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, we will get started. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we've called the meeting for the regular bi-weekly meeting of the Beckley Common Council for February the 14th. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. It's a heck of a way to celebrate Valentine's Day, but that's what we do, I guess. Anyhow, good to have you with us. First order of business, reading approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting dated January 24th, 2023.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
And seconded.
Have a motion and second to approve the minutes of January 24th as presented. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by a like sign, motion carries. You'll notice agenda item number 4 has to do with a property conveyance, which involves the homeless shelter. And this evening we have Crystal Alonso and Danielle Stewart and Mike Horn here. We would ask, at your choice, who would like to speak to this before the vote for the first reading of the ordinance?
Well, I'll start and then turn it over to Crystal if I can, just to give a little bit of a background of what's going on. For quite a while, we've been trying to find a permanent solution for the homeless shelter. For the last 30, 40 years, something like that, we've been basically on a month-to-month, year-to-year lease with DHHR at the current facility over at Pinecrest. Over the last year, some of the situations have changed, and DHHR is now offering to transfer that facility to the city, and then the city could in turn lease that to RCCAA to run the shelter. What this does is this will allow us to receive additional grants. Some of you may remember a few years ago, the city was going to use CDBG funds to fix the front awning, but was not able to because we didn't own the facility. This will now take care of that problem. The city will own it, RCCA will lease it, and then we'll be able to get grants. As part of that, DHHR has already given us over $1 million in funds that we're using to fix up the facility now. So when if you approve this transfer, the city is going to get a facility ready to go. And I'm going to turn it over to Crystal kind of to talk more about where we're at with the current facility.
Very good. Thank you, Danielle. Just by way of clarification, while Crystal makes her way to the podium, this would be a triple net lease. We would merely own the property. The property would still be continue to be managed and run as it is now. By doing this, as Danielle stated, it's my understanding through a couple of meetings that this allows RCCA and DHHR to qualify for more grant funding than they would be as owners of the building. So the only caveat, I guess, we've talked about snow removal and some paving, but those are the only two things that the city would actually be involved in as far as upkeep or maintenance of the building. So, Crystal, welcome.
Hey there. Well, for the funding that we recently secured, which was roughly around $1 million, what we're working on now is we've replaced the boiler system, and with the roof, we're working on getting the whole new roof, and we have some remodel on the inside, upgrade electrical. We're going to do basement renovations so we can put, people down there if need be, new windows, a security system, and that's all that we're doing with about $1 million. So, it'll be like new once it's all done.
The building has always had great bones. Our recorded treasurer, Billy Trump, spent a lot of time in the Pinecrest facility doing training in the old days, and always remarked about what a sound building it is. So the fact that you are renovating and upgrading is very encouraging. So thank you.
Did y'all have any questions?
Any questions, Crystal?
Who's going to take care of the maintenance of the building? Would that be the city?
No, we do the maintenance. And with the long-term lease, we would be able to, of course, it is an older building, even with these new, these renovations that are taking place. If something big happens in the future, we can always secure more funding because we would have a long-term lease agreement.
Well, that was a problem. Several years ago, Danielle alluded to the fact that through our CDBG, and I think several council members were on the council at the time, we had actually approved $57,000 to renovate and repair the canopy. And we thought it was smooth sailing, but when the state got involved, or CDBG got involved, said that DHHR/RCCA only had a 5-year lease, and they could not approve an expenditure of $57,000 for a 5-year lease. So we're talking about a longer-term lease now, which will, in effect, make it more probable and a brighter picture for this group to secure the funding, which you've already received a pretty substantial portion of. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Let
we
me
do.
ask a quick question.
Sure.
Have you checked and seen if this new relationship is still going to put you under the parameters of OFLAC? I assume you are currently certified through the Office of Facility Licensure and Certification at the DHHR. Will you still be required to follow all those regulations? with
I'm
this?
sure we would be,
Okay.
but I'm not for sure. I can't answer that. I can get back with you on
My
that.
thinking is if you're not under the DHHR's umbrella, you won't have to strictly adhere to what are a lot of overburdensome obligations from OFLAC. So you may actually be able to
Okay.
save a great deal of money by not having to do some of their draconian rules.
I see.
But we can talk about it later. You can always give me a call.
Okay, I will. I'll do that. Yes.
Any other questions?
One other thing I wanted to note, and I'm sorry I to speak again, but when we talk about it, we're talking about the building itself, but it's actually going to come with a rather large plot of land there as well. So there'll be opportunities to expand or build other things on that plot of land. So it's not just a building. It probably goes a couple hundred feet to the very back part of the lot, and it comes up. So, things that we've looked at is additional youth homelessness housing, and veteran housing as possibilities to construct on there in the future. Of course, that would be with the city's approval. The other thing we had talked about was a necessity to redo the lease after every set of elections. There was concerns about the lease, you all obligating future city councils to the lease, so that would be something that we've taken into account, is that after every set of elections, and I can't remember, Mayor, what it's called, that.
It's just committing future, and let's recent discussion with Mr. Fowl, he felt like that maybe this transaction would not be subject to that requirement. Is that correct, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think we're in good shape.
I just had this, explaining to a fifth grader kind of mentality going on here. I mean, we got a state piece of property, but the city is going to own it?
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be deeded to the state, or
It's
to
going
the
to,
city.
the state's going to deed it to us.
Exactly, yeah,
And then from that point,
We
we
lease it.
lease it to them.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. You're promoted to the 6th grade now.
I was having a hard time wrapping my head around how this was going to
Yeah.
happen.
Does this transfer interfere with any revenue stream coming into you guys?
No, not for what we have, and anything it can enhance opportunities for more funding, because we would have a long-term lease, yes. But what we have is secure.
So where does your funding come from now?
DHHR,
Is that it?
no, we have Emergency Housing Solutions, or Emergency Solutions Grant is what it's called. And then we have Community Service Block Grant. So we have roughly, what is it, like 500,000, 700,000 budget coming in that runs the shelter. So, and we could ask for more if needed for renovations, if, again, go back to that long-term lease. When things happen, that wouldn't be a problem.
So the major contributor is DHHR?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Very good. Any other questions of Crystal? Mike, did you want to make any comments? Good, all right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Fowle, would you handle the first reading of the ordinance?
Thank you, Mayor. Be glad to. And I will state that Danielle is correct. This does convey certainly more than just the building. It's a 2.2 acre tract that's being conveyed to the city. And there's a copy of the plat and the description attached to the ordinance that I believe each of you have been presented with. Tonight, I will read this ordinance by title. This will be the first reading. If approved tonight, we will have second reading of this ordinance on March the 14th. And this reading is titled, or this ordinance is titled, An Ordinance Concerning Property to be Conveyed by the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, an agency of the state of West Virginia, to the city of Beckley. Mayor?
Thank you very much, Mr. Fowle. Okay, we have a motion to approve the ordinance on the first reading and set for a public hearing.
Mayor, I would so move.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the ordinance as presented by Mr. Fowle on the first reading and set for public hearing. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of the ordinance indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by a like sign, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, resolution authorizing the mayor and the court treasurer to sign documents regarding novation of a VA lease. I guess that's at Pinecrest South. Mr. Fowle?
Yes, sir, Mayor. This regards the part of the property that was conveyed to the city of Beckley by the Pinecrest Development Corporation back in April of 2022. With the property came a certain number of leases. One of them is a lease with the United States. It's called VA 245-17-6-0162. And this is a lease that now needs to be, the transfer needs to be completed so that the city can take over the portion of the lease that was being handled by Pinecrest. And this resolution simply authorizes the mayor and the recorder treasurer to sign any and all documents necessary to facilitate the transfer of this lease. So, Mayor, I don't think it's necessary to read this lease in its entirety. Basically, all it does is it does authorize you and Mr. Trump to sign the documents that will be presented to you in order to finalize this transaction.
Very good. Just by way of explanation, this VA office is located on the ground floor of Pinecrest South office building, and they've been in business now for 5 or 6 years. Governor Justice came up and presided at the dedication of this building 5 or 6 years ago. So it's an out-service, very important program for veterans, and we're certainly happy to be involved in leasing this building to the VA. So with that, do we have a motion for approval of the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the resolution as presented by Mr. Fowle. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by a like sign, that motion carries. Captain Morgan.
Yes, we've had a notice of application for West Virginia ABCA license. The reason they applied to change of ownership. Vishnu Patel and Craig Whistler applicants. Humble Hospitality LLC doing business as Morgan's Food and Spirits, 1924 Harper Road, map 54, parcel 17, has filed a notice of intent to apply to operate a private club, private wine restaurant, or tavern at this location in the B1 Neighborhood Highway Business District. The location, 1924 Harper Road, and the intended use, private club, private wine restaurant, or tavern, is a permitted use in this B1 zone. The location is not an area designated by Common Council for the use of community development block grant funds.
Very good. I think we probably all know that this change is due to a change of ownership, and this is the location of the Holiday Inn, which has been in business for a number of years. They're basically doing this same type of work. So this does not require any, it's not an action item for council, but it's for your knowledge and edification only.
I have a question there. Donnie, have you seen that, their sign that has ratchet straps around it?
Yeah.
You've seen it, Tom?
holding the concrete,
It's
holding
holding
the
the
block
concrete,
together.
holding the blocks
Oh,
together.
okay, the base.
Yeah, the base, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that could be, I mean, that seems to be, well, number one, it's unsightly and you've
Yeah.
got development going on. Is that something that you could ask them to correct that rather than have it belonged? What are those called, Tom? Those-
The ratchet
Ratchet
straps,
straps?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can send them a
Okay.
notice.
Thank you.
Very good. Now to one of my all-time favorite resolutions. This one is, it was groundbreaking back in the day. It's still rather earth-shaking. It's referred to as the foul open burning of vegetation permit. Mr. Fowl, would you like to describe that resolution?
Thank you, Mayor. I believe it's very important to control burning within the city limits. That's the purpose of this resolution. I will read the pertinent parts of the resolution. That consists of 4 paragraphs. Number 1 would be, the open burning of vegetation will be allowed in the corporate limits of the city of Beckley between the hours of 5 p.m. and 7 a.m. from the first day of March 2023 until the 31st day of May 2023. Second paragraph, prior to the open burning of vegetation, the owner of the property upon which burning will take place must notify the City of Beckley Fire Department. Paragraph 3, the open burning shall be in such a manner as to not affect the health, safety, comfort, and property of any person. If the open burning is determined to not meet this criteria, then the fire department is authorized to order the open burning to cease. Number 4, any prior resolution of common council contrary to the terms contained herein are hereby revoked and declared null and void. Mayor?
Very good, Mr. Fowl. Thank you for another excellent job of describing that open burning. Chief Wills, do you have any comments?
Covered pretty well. We do get some complaints, when we get them, we go out and ask them to try to put out. Every now and then we'll get people will burn trash, and that's usually what brings one of the complaints, because it's smell.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, we're down to old business. I'll lead off with just one item.
Mayor, we probably need to pass this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Would that be all 4 sections of that resolution?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good.
Yes, sir.
Have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as presented. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by a like sign. Very good, thank you. Now we're down to old business. I'll lead off. A compliment to, in my opinion, to our recorder treasurer, Billy Trump, and our controller, Jessica Chandler, who about 6 years ago signed the city up, I think if not the first city in the state, among the very first 2 or 3 cities, to the open government program that the state auditor runs, which allows any Beckley citizen to get online and examine all of the city's finances. So it's my understanding that Auditor J.B. McCuskey has actually enhanced that program with another transparent portion of a similar program, and he's coming to Beckley on this Thursday at 11 o'clock here in council chambers to discuss that. And I sent an invitation out to council this evening, invited you to join that. But I think the fact that Auditor McCuskey has chosen Beckley to join us and kick this new iteration of the open government program off is certainly a compliment to Billy and Jessica and their team. So anyhow, that's my old business. Anything from any member of council under old business?
Mayor, last council meeting, Cody brought up a good point that there needed to be a checklist for building contractors. Are we going to be able to formulate something so that contractors have something to go by?
Yes, I think Donnie is in the process of actually working with Cody and his dad on, has you all been contacted yet?
We've
Good.
already met, we met
Good,
last
good.
week.
Yeah, we appreciate your dad's input there.
And Mayor, I'd like to thank Pam Fry and her board of Public Works. And it started with Bill Kelly, who revised the smart recycling guide, the flyer. So starting yesterday, everybody that is on board for Beckley's curbside program gets the flyer and the calendar on the back. Thank you, Pam, and all of your workers. So I received mine yesterday. Councilman Silver got his yesterday. So if you want one of the flyers, you can stop by and get one at Board of Public Works. But everybody that's already signed up for curbside will get one this week with their
Yeah,
plastic
the
bag.
flyer is telling you what
What you can.
and cannot put in your recycling bin.
It's the one that I passed out a couple weeks ago to everybody.
Anything from any other member of
I have
council?
something
Okay.
there. I
Yes.
just want to say congratulations to Mr. Brian Brown and his staff for your new office building uptown. Congratulations, and we look forward to your new development that's coming about. And I want to thank Pam Fry also for assisting me for getting some traffic cones for a lady that was having an event. Thank you.
Good. Had a brief chat with Mr. Brown before the meeting. That's probably the largest crowd at a ribbon cutting that I've experienced that the Chamber's put on, particularly at noon. It was good, very good.
It's nice.
Anything from any other member of council under old business? Anything from any member of council under new business?
I have an announcement, Mayor,
Okay.
for Crystal Tucker. We know she's the director of the HGTA Theater Group of Beckley, and she is presenting, it's called Afro-Lapcha. It's of hidden figures and unsung heroes. It's going to be at the Raleigh Playhouse Theater on the 24th and the 26th. On February 24th, it starts at 7, and on February 26th at 4 o'clock. So
Very
she's
good.
wanting to invite all you all to come and support her.
Is Bryson going to perform?
Yes, oh, he's quite a
All
performer.
right, yeah. He's my man.
Yeah, that's her grandson.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Just one quick announcement. Sakura Mankai is a Japanese cafe that'll be opening up in Coffee on Main's prior location. The ribbon cutting for that will be the 21st of this month. It's been a lot of plumbing, but it's all finished and ready, so.
Great.
So that new coffee shop will be opening uptown. Again, ribbon cutting to be set for the 21st on Tuesday.
Great, good.
Mayor, I have three things.
Okay.
Since I've retired, I have a little bit more time to go to meetings, and
Sure,
I went to Brian's event the other day because of that.
sure.
And I went to the Salvation Army Board meeting, and I'm a member of the Salvation Army Board. And they wanted to make an announcement that they are going to be able to, they're filing the application to create a Boys and Girls Club in the new facility over there.
Good.
It'll be summer programming and after-school programming. It's a really good addition.
That's wonderful.
It is.
Really.
Great.
Another meeting I went to was with Ryland Music. He's with the State Highway Department, and Paul Hutchison put it together, and Corey Lilly was at the meeting, and Gary Moorfield, and we were discussing what we could do that the state could do to help the city. And the conversation got to like the bridge over at Cranberry Creek and the two White Stick and Cranberry Creek merging, and where we were going to place a little park and this, that, and other. But in the meantime, as we talked about the bridge and this overlook that we're trying to create and a curb access, he mentioned that that new bridge that's going across this Cranberry Creek that's in front of R.T. Rogers and it goes across.
Right.
That it is a special bridge, but that's like the world's longest bridge of that type.
That type.
It has, that little, looks like maybe might not be, spectacular or anything like that, but the type it is in the paper, I think, yesterday.
It was, yeah.
About the
Good
bridge.
overhead shot.
But it wasn't mentioned that it's like the world's longest bridge of that type.
Wow.
And that's a really big deal. So that'll help with our little bridge tour that we're trying to create.
That's great.
And thirdly, my family is pretty involved in the Piney Creek watershed. And this press release was laying on my wife's desk. And I asked her if I could read this. And the Beckley Sanitary Board has received a special award, and I'm sure you know about it, Mayor, because you are, I think, chairman of that board
I am,
or something.
right.
But The Beckley Sanitary Board is in partnership with the Piney Creek Watershed Association and West Virginia University Institute of Technology, has been selected to receive the 2023 National Environmental Achievement Award through National Association of Clear Water Agencies, NACWA, for their cooperative project, Piney Creek Watershed Monitoring Collaborative. According to the NACWA website, the National Environmental Achievement Award Program recognizes individuals and the NACWA member agencies that have made outstanding contributions to environmental protection and the clean water community. The award-winning initiative began in 2017 as a conservation among the Beckley Sanitary Board, Stormwater Utility, Piney Creek Watershed Association, and the West Virginia University Tech Biology Department. The project has launched to learn more than local water quality, engage volunteer citizen scientists, and involve students in real-world field science. Dr. Matthew Williams, former WVU Tech Biology professor, designed a field monitoring program that met the standards and was approved by the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection and United States Environmental Protection Agency. In January 2019, 4 stream teams of students and other volunteers launched their first and many excursions. Each team collected and studied water samples from the 4 major streams in the Beckley watershed. Students also set up water analysts in the lab and helped study samples results to understand water quality trends. In 2019, stream teams have been collecting data once every month, except for a 3-month break due to COVID. The information gained through the shared project has helped locate sources of water pollution and plan future improvements of wastewater and stormwater infrastructure. This project also helped locate additional areas for future water quality research and provided new learning opportunities to students. More than 40 students were involved, along with other dedicated community volunteers. The project recorded more than 1,500 volunteer hours, and many students turned their watershed resource experience into career or graduate school opportunities. The Beckley Sanitary Board is pleased the efforts of our staff, West Virginia Tech students, faculty, and watershed volunteers have received much-deserved national award recognition. This collaboration demonstrates the progress that is possible on challenging environmental issues when we work together from the classroom to the creek bank, stated Jeremiah Johnson, General Manager of the Beckley Sanitary Board. The Watershed Collaborative continued to grow and welcome new volunteers each season. As Beckley Sanitary Board and its partners invest in the watershed future, the Piney Creek Collaborative is building a legacy of environmental cooperation and opportunity. Beckley Sanitary Board its partners will be honored in February at the 2023 NACWA Winter Conference in Sonoma, California. That's pretty special.
That's
man.
pretty good. You know, our sanitary board, kind of under the radar, things like the smart pond that helps control the flooding at Ewart Avenue and RCB was award-winning. Jeremiah received awards on that project a number of years ago. Now, if you've been down Carter Street to the bottom of Carter Street where it comes into City Avenue, you will also see another smart pond, control that's computer controlled, where they can sit in their desk and determine the water as it comes down that watershed. So they're really good. So
well, like out at Woodrow Wilson High School where the pond used to be, that's been taken out and it's put in a green space is put in there with
wetlands.
And then they just placed 2 litter trouts here in the past
Right.
week. This is on Cranberry Creek where like the trash that comes out of like Taco Bell and the restaurants along the way gets captured into this little
Exactly.
this screen thing, and then they're gonna document the trash that's in there and, help get it before it gets into Piney. And then, the students over at Woodrow Wilson, there's a biology class over there, and they're raising trout that will be placed into the Piney Creek, I think, this spring. From like little bits of nothing. They were just, weren't they? Danielle knows.
Danielle, thank you. The former executive director of Piney Creek Watershed, you've advocated for years, and all of those benefits are going to be realized for many, many years to come, for all of the years that you've worked hard. Piney Creek Watershed, thank you.
Anything else from a member of council under new business? If anybody's late for your Valentine's dinner with your significant other, just tell that person that it's Tom's fault because he retired. And
All right, we've been going to a few meetings.
so, anything else from any members of council under new business?
And Mayor, you left out, and dinner will be at Mayor Rappolt's house.
It will, yeah.
All right.
What can I say? Come on down. Okay.
I'll go Tuesday.
Okay, we're down to public comments, and Trina Daisel has signed up, and she's going to tell us about a very important United Way program.
Good evening and happy Valentine's Day. Another important day was celebrated on Saturday. Saturday, February 11th, was officially recognized as 211 Day. 211 is the nationally approved information and referral hotline that provides access to local community services. In West Virginia, our statewide collaborative of United Ways sponsors 211, with each local United Way responsible for providing a community resource specialist to field calls within their service area. 211 is free, confidential, and available 24/7. The handout I shared with you is a brief overview of our impact report from 2022. Through calls, texts, chats, and online searches, over 100,000 connections were made for West Virginians. In 2022, 7,592 calls were made to 211 from the counties covered by United Way of Southern West Virginia. 1,986, or 27% of those calls, originated from 25801 or 25802 zip codes. 611 calls were for housing and shelter information, which includes mortgage, rent, home repair, and shelter information. 542 were made for utility assistance, 477 for healthcare information, and 63 for food assistance. Other categories include mental health and addictions, employment and income, clothing and household items, childcare, legal services, and transportation. 278 of our local callers were over the age of 65. The 35 to 44 and 55 to 64 age ranges each had over 400 callers. Those calls reached our in-house specialists during business hours and a West Virginia-based call center in the evenings or over the weekends. Our specialists respond compassionately with accurate information from a frequently updated database. United Way of Southern West Virginia enjoys a wonderful partnership with the City of Beckley. Our grant program supports home-delivered meals for seniors, food and baby needs pantries, recovery programs, transitional housing, utility assistance, child advocacy, hospice services, and more for the citizens of Beckley. I'm asking Council to consider providing funding to support its citizens through the direct service we offer with 211. Aside from our specialist salary, our costs include that of the call center, as well as a dedicated phone line, insurance, training, technology, and supplies. Our request is for $4,500 yearly to support connecting the citizens of Beckley with the resources they need. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about United Way or 211, and I thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Trina. Mr. Trump, our recorder treasurer, is in the midst now of compiling budget information for the coming fiscal year, so that the timing would be fairly urgent. He would need some pro formas of the program. That's what you're specifically requesting, and also maybe some general financial statements from United Way.
I've shared that.
And yeah, and I think we can. I can't. It's certainly council's decision, but I think it's such a great program, and we are proud to be a partner with United Way here in Beckley.
Well, we're proud to be here, and we appreciate your
Well,
support.
you're doing a great job. Thank you. Any other questions of Trina?
I would just like to thank Trina and Sherry for what they do for United Way. Thank you all.
You know, the Salvation Army at that meeting, they said they got back on your list, on the United Way's
They are a
list.
funded agency, if you know that. Yes.
That just, they were dropped off a couple of years,
For a
they
couple
said.
years, yeah, but they came back, and we support their utility assistance program, and hopefully, you know, would be able to support the Boys and Girls Club as it gets developed there as well.
Yes, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Trina.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Do we have anybody else signed up for public comments? Anthony? No, sir. Okay, then I won't read this little blurb. So it looks like we are down to adjournment, if we have a motion to do so.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, everybody.
Bing, bang, bang.
Y'all got